Oh,
Hello,
good.
everyone.
She's back.
I am Jesse, or GameOverJesse. Here with us is Daniel, and just getting back is Chablima. So this is, I don't know the best way to go about this. I didn't know a organized way to do this, but basically a few days ago, or about a week ago, I guess by the time this video goes up, there was a Zelda mod going around that was 4K 60 frames per second, and it's like no cell shading or anything like that, blah blah blah, just like using a bunch of mods. A bunch of websites and everything posted it, and they gave credit to someone who had absolutely nothing to do with actually doing any of the mods. He was just someone showing it off, and everyone reported on his video.
They credited the YouTube channel rather than the modders themselves, basically.
Yeah, and it got a bunch of the modders upset, so I was contacted by MelonS, or MelonS Speedrun, who we've had on before. He
great dude.
Is
very good Smash player.
Yeah, he's a very well-known modder, not just for Zelda but Mario, everything. They're currently working on the online multiplayer version of Ocarina of Time.
He's also just a really cool dude.
Yeah.
So
he first messaged me. I'm just gonna read this in order. Again, he like sent quotes and stuff, so it would be just hard to get everything put together nicely. So this is basically what it is. He messages me, says, "Hey Jesse, may I talk to you for a minute? I have a subject I'd like to discuss." And then he sends an article from Nintendo Life talking about this. Check out Zelda Breath of the Wild running at 60 frames per second with no cell shading, blah blah blah. And he says basically this thing exploded, and well, all of those articles effed up really bad. He said the naughty word, but you guys know.
No, he wrote
exploitive deleted.
ED.
Yeah, so they are crediting a certain Arc Longstride, I guess is the person's name, for making the mods, even though Arc Longstride has never touched modding in his entire life. And I replied, as expected, by people who don't understand proper journalism, because a lot of people don't want to like do research to see like who did everything, but for fun, I'll read like 10-page long Iwata asks just to get new details.
Those Iwata asks were great. That's why.
So we like quote a lot of interviews and stuff on this channel when a lot of people just go with like speculation or whatever. But anyways, he says basically this Arc Longstride didn't ever credit the proper people in his videos, and to be even more of a exploitive deleted, he made new videos after the multiple articles showcasing the mod, still no credits. He's even claiming he made it. So, because I know the two real people that made it, and basically the entire modding community is mad at that guy, I said, should we mention this on the next podcast to try and clear things up? He says yes. I asked him who made it. He says, mind if I send you what you send what you just said to the authors? They would answer better than I. I said sure, and then he gets back to me and says he sends this this quote from SkalFate, who I assume is one of the actual modders, saying, I wouldn't know what to say. I guess if I was to say anything, it would start with clearing up the misunderstandings involved. One, that no cell shading pack does not, that no cell shading pack does not make the whole world dark and make the sky look unnatural. 2, 60 FPS pack is a different mod, which is the original work of Zalfinos, I hope I pronounced that right, with helpers such as Epigram X and Crementive. And 3, Clarity Pack preset that he was using, which is the work of Jamie and the people involved in each preset. He sends another one saying, I have a presentation video that showcases the mod, and additional fog removal mod. And then there's another one saying, also here's proof that he's taking all the credits for himself. So in this he says, hey D Dave, I'm the modder that made the videos. If you need any advice on how to replicate this, let me know, mate. I can confirm that playing this adds a ton of the overall experience. Dave replied to the comment saying, hey dude, so amazing you were able to do that. It really blew my mind. And then there's just a text chain after that. So basically he didn't make these. He's getting basically his 15 minutes of fame from everyone talking about the articles, and he tried capitalizing on it, making more videos and taking claim for all of it. And so the people that I read off those usernames are the ones who were actually behind the mod. And in the description below on the edited version of this video, we will have links to the people who actually made the mod. So personally, I kind of like the cell shading and stuff. Some people says it makes it look more like Twilight Princess. I think there's an area on the map that you can go to that's on the bridge where you can like get in the crack and it takes away the cell shading. And this basically, I think it makes the whole game like that. But then there's like the clarity pack that's on it that makes all the colors more vibrant. He's running the like a fog removal thing, which is my biggest issue with Breath of the Wild. But anyways,
you don't like the fog?
Like I do sometimes. Like when you're in the Lost Woods and it's really foggy and you can't see what's in front of you, it works. But like I really love what it looks like on a clear day, because when it's foggy, it looks like there's just a white haze over everything and it like blocks out all the color.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, so with this, have you guys been able to see this mod to see how it looks? Because to me, it looks like if they made the Breath of the Wild, maybe like if they just made it specifically for the Nintendo Switch instead of the Wii U, and then trying to get it to work as good as they could on the Switch. So if they began it from like ground zero to get it working on the Switch, I could see it looking like not 60 frames per second, but I could see it looking maybe a higher resolution, 1080p instead of 900p and everything. Or if it was made for like PlayStation 4 or the PlayStation 4 Pro, this would basically be what the game would look like, with maybe slight improvements with textures and stuff. So it does give you an idea of what it could look like on a better console. But yeah, Daniel, what are your thoughts on it?
I am always a big fan of cell shading. Honestly, I actually just I like how it looks. And someone in the chat said, like, and I wholeheartedly agree with this statement. Let me pull it back up here. What did they say? It was Abigail says, I don't hate the non-cell shading, but I think cell shading has a lot of character to the art style. And that's kind of my mindset as well. As you know, like it looks good without the cell shading, but it just, the reason Nintendo puts it in there is it adds a very unique look. And I find without the cell shading, a lot of the character models and stuff, like Link looks like a wax figure almost, like and sort of a lot of like the little imperfections feel a lot more forgivable with cell shading. Plus the lighting is gorgeous when you have cell shading, and it just, I do feel like the mods, I can see a lot of work put into it, and I respect the modding community a lot for the kind of stuff they do with that. But for me, it does feel like they take I don't know, part of what makes the game look so good away with that. So that's just me, but it's,
for I have full screen what the mod looks like, the video that I sent, where he's like going through showing how to use all the mods and stuff. And so if you're watching this live or edited, you can see what it looks like full screen, zoomed in on Link, and he's adding in all the different mods, taking away stuff and everything. So
he looks like a cake topper.
A cake topper?
Yeah, like a little plastic cake topper.
Yeah, like there's no shine. Like the lighting isn't affecting him, right? So like there's no shine to him or anything.
Yeah, I don't know. And it just doesn't feel, I don't know. It feels very Like if you showed me this image and you said this is this is what Link would look like, Toy Story, like the first Toy Story movie, not Toy Story 3,
Yeah.
then I'd be like, yep, yeah, that is. But yeah, it just doesn't look right. And yeah, there's just quite a lot of oh, wow, he's invisible. What's going? Now I'm really lost.
Yeah.
But Breath of the Wild, because it fuses this with a lot of very realistic looking parts with sort of this cell shading overcast on it, it lends a really unique art style that I really adore. I really love that, and it just feels weird without it. And I don't know. That's just my opinion. And this is, again, anything against the modders. I think everybody has a different taste for what looks good in their opinion or not. But
yeah, the mountains here looks good. So when it catches up, you'll see the mountains.
Yeah.
Let me turn this down a bit. Okay.
But
So-
oh yeah, this is the one I saw. Where it's at Hateno.
So
Village.
this is the
Yeah.
video where the guy's like taking credit for it, and I do like that you can see everything really far away without it like being too foggy and disappearing and stuff. And then when he looks over and the camera looks at the mountains look like they would look like in. Does that make sense? They look like what they would look like in an Elder Scrolls game, like especially
I was gonna
Skyrim.
say it's very like Skyrim-esque, like the way that the mountains look.
Yeah. But then when it looks out over the water, it just like
The water just totally loses it there.
yeah, and that's the thing in Breath of the Wild is I find like I could look at the ocean and the sunset and everything, and like 2 years later, and I'm still like, God, this game is gorgeous. Like I posted a screenshot on Twitter the other day of like the sunset in Breath of the Wild, being like, this game is still like 2 years later. I still love how gorgeous this game is and stuff. And that was like on Breath of the Wild's 2nd birthday. And and I just feel like it loses that with in this video. It just, like, I saw this and I was like, I'm not into it.
Yeah. So
yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say like I think like the title is even a lie, or the original title, because I don't think, because this is like super widescreen.
Yeah,
and he could have done it on a normal screen and just like made it look like it was supposed to be widescreen, but this wouldn't technically be 4K, because I don't think super widescreen or ultra wide 4K monitors exist, or if they do, they're going to be super expensive. So I think what this is just a normal 1440p monitor, and then he could have just recorded it in 4K, because no one is going to be able to tell the difference between like 1440p and like full 4K. So I don't think this is actually 4K like it says. But that's just like a minor gripe. That the real issue is like just taking credit for something that you didn't do. So we're gonna go ahead and give this a down vote.
Huge problem in its own. You should never take credit for something that you didn't do.
No.
And so I think it's really cool that Melon reached out to let us know, like, hey, this has happened. Please say something, and please make it more public than it already is.
Yeah.
And like taking a look at the mod on its own, like I think it's really cool. It's a really good idea. Personally, like I probably wouldn't play it because like it kind of like it takes me a couple steps back into where I would like to be with Legend of Zelda, especially game style wise. Like I think that if they had released it looking this way, I would have been okay with it. But seeing what we've seen and how beautiful it is and all of the very rich colors, I don't think I would take that step backwards. So
that's fair. Yeah, and
it has a very I'm sorry, like the way that Twilight Princess is. Love Twilight Princess, love the graphics for it, but it is a very dull and a very brought
Look at
down
this,
kind
guys.
of game.
What happened to you? Did you punch your screen?
No.
What's going on? What happened?
Like there was just the page.
Oh, okay.
It was like that.
Way.
That was super weird.
Like I just randomly jumped to it. That's
But
crazy.
go on. Twilight Princess.
But yeah, like Twilight Princess is like it has a very dark tone to it, like especially like the color palette of the game. It's not very bright, it's not very lively. So like that is really what I'm feeling like in the difference between like the mod and the unmodded version is that you kind of bring it into like a less lively kind of feel,
Yeah.
which I'm not really a fan of because, well, like we're playing a game where, you know, we're in Hyrule after everything has happened, but things are thriving and things are coming back now, and so I wouldn't like to see a duller version.
Yeah, and it does suit Twilight Princess, I think, because that's kind of the look they were going for, and they build the game around that. And then when you do things like go to the, you know, what's the dungeon called? The Palace of Twilight, for example, and it's like this huge stark difference.
Yeah.
And there's all this heavy glow and stuff. I don't know, like they had a style and they went all the way with it, and it looks great. Well, I mean, it hasn't aged gracefully necessarily like the GameCube version or the original release, but you know, it's still I feel like the biggest issue though is, like you said, like taking credit for someone else's work, even if it's not my cup of tea. You can tell like someone put effort into this and it shows, and it doesn't sit right with me that someone publish it and then be like, oh, that's a me, you know. And I don't know, that irks me, especially as someone who has struggled a bit with recognition for work I've done, like editing wise for other people. I'm not naming anyone, but like there's been a handful of people that I've done editing work for example, and some of them haven't credited me for that, or I've had to like request that they actually credit me for it, and some of them did end up doing that and some haven't and stuff like that. And so like for me that hits me pretty close to home, seeing like, okay, that's my work, that's, you know, being even worse is that like that's work that I agreed to do for them, whereas this is not even necessarily like he didn't have an agreement with these modders to publish their work or anything like that. So it's even a greater theft than what I can imagine be going through, you know, in my own experience. So
I was also actually just thinking about it. The scene, like the title scene when you walk, like when you come out of the sleep chamber or whatever it was called, and you come out and you see like the entirety of Hyrule. Like, how would that look with the mod? Because without the mod, it's like breathtaking, it's beautiful, it's like, oh my gosh, what is this game that I've just stepped into? But I feel like with the mod, and just based on what I've seen, like I would probably like step out and be like, this is an average game.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. And I mean, maybe like Jesse said, the fog removal would maybe lend something good to it, but then that's the thing, is like the lighting. For example, when you wake up in the actual Shrine of Resurrection, for example, only the like blue Sheikah technology is the only thing lighting the room, and it's super dark except for all this blue glow and stuff. And I found with these mods on that the glow of certain things is lessened dramatically. Like Link's Sheikah Slate in the mods doesn't have a glow to it even. And so it's like, is it going to look super drab when Link wakes up in just a dark room? Like, once, you know, it's there's that sort of character with this technology that's going to be missing too. And then you walk out in the scenery and it's not going to have that beautiful painting look to it. Like, that's something I love, is that like you see all the concept art and stuff for Breath of the Wild, and it's like paintings, and you can see these, and like the painting behind me, for example, you can see this painting and that looks like the game.
Yeah.
You know, because of that art style. So I think, you would definitely be missing something in that cutscene. I'm rambling. I'm sorry. I just took your idea and ran away with it.
I think the modders who worked on it would like they want to get as much feedback as they can. So it's good. There was before we move to the next thing, there was a similar issue. I wouldn't really similar. But it was RMFH whenever Breath of the Wild first started being emulated and modded and stuff. And he had a series that he was doing where he would just do a bunch of, like he would show off a bunch of Breath of the Wild mods. Like, oh, you can play as Goku, or you can get, like, turn a Hinox or whatever into Shrek. Yeah.
I saw one where they, video today, I think, where they turned him Bowser.
Interesting.
And that was actually kind of funny, because when you shoot him in the eye and Bowser's just
if you could turn him into Bowser and then you can turn like the Lizalfos or something into like another Mario character, like giant Goombas. When you see, or like even the Bowser Juniors, or the Koopalings, whatever they are. If you could do something to where, like, you know, when you get the Hinox that throws the Lizalfos, like they'll use them as a weapon. If you could just imagine Bowser using like one of them as a weapon, I think that'd be really funny. But anyways, we can move on to the what is this? The topic of discussion. We'll skip 2 of the things on there and just get to this. All right. So.
Sure.
Hey everyone, it's me again, Elia Rose. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching this video. And you know what? If you're a fan of videos like this, you should totally subscribe and give this video a like and comment below to let us know what type of videos you would like to see us create in the future. And if you would really like to support all of us here at the GameOverJesse channel, please consider purchasing a GameOverJesse t-shirt or becoming a Patreon at patreon.com/GameOverJesse, where you can receive many rewards, such as getting shoutouts, having any topic or theory that you select discussed on the podcast or made into its own video, having your question answered, joining on as a guest on the podcast, and playing with us during our Twitch live streams at twitch.tv/GameOverJesse, and much, much more.